This is the Feelworld P6X, and I have been using this on-camera monitor since September 2025 this year. So what this basically is that it is an external monitor that you can mount on your camera or on a separate light stand. So if you are still using this tiny little screen that comes with your cameras, you're not doing yourself any favors, because there's a chance that you might not see those small little minute things in the frame that you may not want, or if you're trying to get accurate exposure, having an external monitor is really key to doing those things. So I have had the Feelworld F7 Plus for about a year, and I've loved that monitor. I love how lightweight it is despite being a 7-inch monitor. And I also have that Feelworld T10, which is a director's monitor that is a little bit bigger, so I wouldn't be comfortable attaching it on top of a camera. And then Feelworld came out with this. This is only a 5.5-inch monitor, which is perfect for handheld work or just a monitor that you can leave on top of your camera. So let's do pros and cons. The first pro that I have for the Feelworld P6X is definitely the build quality. It is built like a tank. I love the aluminum frame of this. So the aluminum frame doesn't just protect the monitor, but it also helps dissipate the heat. So if you pair the aluminum frame plus the fan on this, heat will never be a problem for you. The second pro that I have for this is because it is a 5.5-inch monitor, it's just the right size. If you're using a 7-inch monitor, it might start looking out of balance with your rig. I think this is a perfect sweet spot. Like, it's almost the same size as an Adamas Ninja or a Shinobi. So one more thing I like about this monitor is that it has 1,000 nits. So what does that mean? It means that it can output 1,000 nits when it comes to brightness. And I've never been in a case where I felt like 1,000 nits was not enough. I think 1,000 nits is enough, especially for a monitor of this size. And also it works well with managing heat too, because you don't want to have a very small monitor and have it output such a high brightness level, because it will probably overheat. I love this because 1,000 nits plus the fan and the aluminum frame make sure that this monitor never overheats, and I'm able to shoot for the whole day. I love how responsive the touchscreen is. You can just go through whichever option you want. It's very responsive, it does not lag, and I'm a big fan of the touchscreen on all Feelworld monitors. They've just had that nailed down for a very long time, and it's very reliable and responsive. So the last thing that I love about this monitor is just the powering options. So not only are you able to power this monitor with an NPF style battery, but remember I told you that there is a DC in. So if you want to power this using a Type-C cable, as long as it can output 5 volts of Type-C, you can power this monitor with that. And also it has a DC input of 12 volts. So if you have a DC cable coming from a V-mount battery or a DC input into mains power, you can power this monitor using that. But my favorite way is just powering it off on an NPF style battery. I'm actually planning to buy that new small rig NPF style battery, the F970, if I remember correctly, which is slightly bigger than this. But yeah, it's still lighter than putting a V-mount on this, which keeps the whole setup pretty small. But at the same time, I can run it for a longer period of time with a slightly bigger NPF battery. Okay, so let's talk about the cons. I think for the cons that I've listed down for this monitor, it's more of nitpicks than actual cons. The first one is that it does not have an extra slot here for a dummy battery for an HDMI transmitter. So I love the Feelworld F7 Plus because it does have the dummy battery, so I can just mount my HDMI transmitter onto the monitor and have a battery powering both the monitor plus the HDMI transmitter. But I get what this is. The P6X is definitely not made for that. It's made to be compact and just a monitor that you leave on your camera. It's made to be simple, reliable, and robust. So I understand if they don't have that option that I just mentioned. So the second con that I have for this monitor is the lack of an actual RE locating pin hole. So it's just a little recessed little ridge over here, so it's not a real hole. So I wish that there was an actual hole to mount the RE locating pins onto, because if you're pivoting the monitor a lot, sometimes if you don't have those pins, the monitor will come loose from the monitor mount. So the third little con that I have for this monitor doesn't have to do with any of the features, but it's just the way they place the power button. It's on the right side of the monitor over here. So most of the times whenever I try to power this guy on, I find myself pressing the top menu button over here, and I'm like wondering, why is it not powering on? But actually I'm pressing the menu button because the power button is on this side. So the last con that I have for this is just the included monitor mount, because there is no RE locating pin, right? So if I do mount it like that, sometimes if you don't tighten it enough, instead of the monitor rotating on the actual gear that is inside the monitor mount, it's pivoting off of the screw over here. So yeah, this was a quick video talking about the Feelworld P6X, and this is currently my favorite on-camera monitor. I just leave it on there. I don't have to worry about it because it doesn't scratch as easily because of the matte gray finish and the aluminum housing. It's a lot more durable than most of the monitors I have. So if you have any further questions regarding the Feelworld P6X, leave them in the comment section below. And as always, see you guys next time. Peace.